Hey, this is Mark Goldberg with another episode of Mark Vlogs Watches. And today we're going to talk about 5 things that I hate about the GMT Master 2 Rolex. There's a lot that I love about it, but there's definitely 5 things that I hate. But before we get into that, let's have a quick wristwatch check. It's the Jean-Richard Aquascope. Yes. Why do I think I have crazy eyes when I'm looking at myself on this thing? I don't know. Anyway, stand by and let's talk about what there is to hate about the GMT Master 2 before you buy it.
Okay, so here we have the GMT Master 2. Take a little closer look at this. This is not the BLNR edition, and that's not one of the things that I hate about it. I like this bezel. And in fact, I will make another video called 5 Things That I Love About the GMT Master 2, but right now we're going to focus on the stuff that I hate. So, here we have the notebook, and let's reveal number 1. It's those polished center links. Now it says love-hate there because I gotta confess, I sort of have a love-hate relationship with these polished center links. Look, I'm more of a dive watch guy. I do own several GMTs, so I guess I'm getting really fond of travel watches because I do travel quite a bit. But I started with primarily divers that have brushed through the whole link. And you can see where this is brush, high polished, and then brushed again. And that's called the PCLs, or the polished center links. And they add some pizzazz to the watch, a little bit of flash, which I confess I kind of love on the one hand. On the other hand, man, look at that. It just shows every little scratch. So I sort of have a love-hate relationship with the polished center links. And I guess I'm going to call this one of the things that I hate about this watch. I wish that there was some way to achieve the look without getting all that damage. Some people say you're not that likely to scratch it, but that's bullshit. I don't care what you do. This thing, it's like a scratch magnet. Yeah, 904L steel, I get it, but still, boy, it is sure is scratch prone. And yes, you can take a Cape Cod cloth to that, and ultimately I probably will. But you have to be very careful to tape off your, all the brushed surfaces here. So, although I love the way it looks, I really hate the way it wears because it's constantly dinging up and scratching, and it makes me a little paranoid when I wear this watch. Okay, on to the next thing, the clasp. Yeah, I hate the clasp. I have a deep sea sea dweller, which has a form of the glide lock clasp, a little bit different than the one on the Submariner. But once you live with any kind of a glide lock adjustable clasp, you will find this fucker to be extremely annoying. So it looks good, don't get me wrong, but there is no way to adjust it other than that little half link right there, which is in the in position right now. Sorry about the ding, I smashed myself on something. But okay, so this is pretty easy to release and put back in place. So it gives you, I think it's 5 millimeters extension on the one hand. On the other hand, I don't know about you guys, but I find that my wrist is constantly swelling in certain temperatures and contracting in others, and I live in a cold climate, but I travel often to warmer climates, and so I never know how many links to have in this watch. And it doesn't matter on my deep sea. It wouldn't matter on a Submariner, because with a quick, just a quick adjustment of the clasp, you get like 15 millimeters worth of smaller or larger. But you only get a few millimeters on the GMT Master 2, and frankly, it's not enough. Probably wouldn't bother me if there were micro adjustments, but there are none. So, and look at all those little scratches. And, yeah. And not only that, but real quick back to number 1. If it doesn't scratch, it sure does show fingerprints. So, anyway, but I really don't like that clasp. It's handsome on the one hand, but it's not nearly as functional as it is on the Submariner or on the Deep Sea Sea Dweller. Okay, what's next? Oh, right. We get one 24-hour scale on this watch, and it's on the turning bezel, right? So this allows us to track a second time zone. Now, if you're a mathematician, you can set it for GMT time, and then you just have to know if you're plus or minus and how many hours GMT, and you'll find videos all over YouTube about this, how you just turn the bezel forward or backwards in order to calculate time zone in multiple time zones. But most people who use this watch are going to just set it to another time zone. So here in Chicago, it's showing 11:45, 11:45, and it's AM. I know that because it's light outside. And it's showing 18:45 by the second time zone here. You know, we read back to the lower hour. So it looks like it's near 1900, but we got to go back to 1800 and add in the minutes. So it's 18:45. That's the time in the other time zone. But had they added a second 24-hour scale somewhere internal to the dial, we would be able to easily track 3 time zones. And I'm going to show you an example of that. That's here on my Breitling Avenger 2 GMT, where you can see the bezel has got a 24-hour scale. But look at the angled chapter ring. 24 up there at the 12. 1400 hours, 1600 hours, etc. So this watch is able to track 3 time zones. So let me just move that bezel. So the local time again is showing 11:47. Here it's showing. Sorry, I'm confused. Yeah, it's showing 13:47. On the outside bezel, and it's showing 11:47 internally. Okay, so the main dial and the chapter ring dial are set for the same time zone right now, but they need not be. And I know because I took this to Asia with me, and I set the main dial on Bangkok time, and then I set the internal chapter time to Chicago time to track home time. And then I had a friend who was traveling in Paris, and so I set my outer bezel to Paris time. So I was able to track local, Chicago, and Paris time all on the same watch. And you cannot do that on the GMT Master 2. So we have the Rolex, which is a much more, in its way, refined watch than the Breitling, but it does less. Okay, number 4, the case back. Now this is really not so much a complaint about the GMT. It's pretty much true of all Rolexes with a couple of exceptions. The Deep Sea Sea Dweller and the Deep Sea are a couple of notable examples where there's some writing and they've gussied up the case back. But I won't dwell on that. However, the fact that there's no insignia, there's nothing signed, there's nothing engraved on the case back makes it exceptionally plain for a watch in this price category. Again, if you're a Rolex lover, which I am, you're used to it, you don't worry about it, but it's something that you can definitely take note of if we want to compare it to the Breitling. And Breitling does such a nice job on their case backs. There's always interesting bathroom reading material on a Breitling, and if all you have in the bathroom is your Rolex, well, you better hope that you brought your iPhone, especially if you're going to be sitting there for a while. And now the final thing that I dislike about the Rolex GMT Master 2 is the loom. I'll give you a loom shot at the end of this. It's weak. It's really, really weak. Now that's kind of a common complaint about most Rolexes, I think, and frankly even the divers. But you would think a brand of this nature should be able to kick up the loom a little bit. It's not that it doesn't loom. It's not that it doesn't last. It just gets really weak. You know what? A Seiko Turtle will kick the shit out of the GMT Master 2 in terms of loom. Anyway, those are the 5 things that I dislike. Get a closer look at them here. These are the things that I dislike about this watch. And in an upcoming video, we'll talk about the things that I love about this watch, because there are plenty of those too. Stay tuned for the loom shot, and please don't forget to like and subscribe so we can do this again. Thanks, guys. Okay, so here we are looming up the watch. Turn off the light. And right now it doesn't look half bad. Let me tilt this back up for you so you can get a better look at it. So it doesn't look at all bad now, but trust me, it's going to fade. So yeah, I wish it would last longer. I'm going to stop this and I'll wait a few minutes, and then I will show you the difference so you can kind of see how quickly it fades out. Okay, guys, and here we are about 12 minutes later. And you get the idea. You know, it's still looming. You can still read it. Um, I can read this thing well into the night if I should sleep in it. But it's somehow disappointing. You get yourself an $8,000 watch, and you want it to loom at least as well as your $200 Seiko, but it does not. Anyway, this is Mark Goldberg. Please do like my video. Please subscribe to my channel so we can do this again. And look for the 5 things that I love about the GMT Master 2 Rolex, because I'll put that up sooner or later too.